Did you really think London had one accent?
I've made copious notes. Look, there's diagrams, there's amounts. This is true to me. I love learning and I love note-taking.
So I was just put in special needs, you know, I was just like a thick kid. So, you know, whereas now my nephews kind of get a proper rundown, they know so much more about their particular type of help they need.
No, but we had a bit of a bond up on the job because it was a strange place to film.
Yeah.
And there was some issues around it, but Bulgaria. Bulgaria was a nutty gaff.
When I was younger, I dated for dating. Now as a grown-ass man, 30 in 2 years, man ain't got time for that no more.
So there's a common misconception that all Londoners sound alike. The last time I counted, there were at least 4 accents in the city. By the end of this video, you'll be able to tell the difference between each accent. Let's get into it. So the first accent on our list is the newest, but fastest growing in London today, MLE, or Multicultural London English. It has a fascinating story. It emerged in the late 20th century in inner city London, shaped by high levels of immigration, and key influences include Caribbean English, African English, South Asian English, African American Vernacular English or Black American English, and MLE also borrows features from traditional Cockney, like T-dropping and TH fronting. The result is a fluid urban accent with multiple flavours that reflects the speaker's local area and cultural background. Now let's discuss some key pronunciation features of this accent. The first is dropping the T in the middle of a word. Take a word like bottle, you may hear bottle.
And to have somebody that I don't know challenge me on my faith and also challenge me on my blackness based on his own stuff.
Yeah.
All the while, I feel as though he is basically cheating poor black people out of everything they've got so he can drive Rolls Royces and have several houses, which he does. I allowed that to make me furious, and it got in the way of my relationship with him, which made the film quite broken and bitty and difficult in places.
The second feature is a stress on the I or Y when in a word. Take words like guy, fly, or like. You'd hear guy, fly, like.
Yeah, but that's reading the room. That's the same, like, I get it, because it's similar hosting. Like, you'll know. You'll know. So everything you're saying, obviously, what you're doing is a much greater extreme and live audience and well, but...
The third component is dropping the TH or swapping it out for a T or a D. Take a word like this, you may hear dis. Or take a word like thing, you may hear ting.
You know what, let's try and guess what's what.
I think this one's the best one by far.
That's luxury, but I don't know what restaurant. I think that might be like a restaurant pizza.
One of them Papa John's. I tasted Papa John's today.
Now the fourth feature we're going to discuss is dropping the H at the beginning of a word. Take a word like home, you may hear ohm. Or take a word like here, you may hear air. Like, what you doing around here? And the last component I'd like to discuss is swapping out the TH for an F. So take a word like think, you may hear think. Or take a number like 3, you may hear free.
A lot of artists here, from like our time or whatever, that I feel don't get the recognition that they deserve for the work man put in. And I think you are one of them. You're definitely one of them as well.
Now this is a feature that you're also going to hear in Cockney, an accent which we're going to discuss right now. Cockney is the traditional working class accent of London's East End, with roots going back to the 19th century and earlier. It's famous for features like T dropping, H dropping, and TH pronounced as F or V. Think, or mother instead of mother. Cockney also has a very distinctive intonation pattern and rhythm that makes it instantly recognizable. The dialect is known for its colorful slang, especially rhyming slang with things like apples and pears. Although it's changed over time and spread beyond the East End, Cockney still symbolizes traditional working class London identity. Now, here are some key features of this accent. The first is a glottal stop. So similar to MLE, you're going to hear bottle instead of bottle. Maybe not pronounced like that, but this clip should do a better job.
A bottle of water.
The second feature is TH fronting. So TH can become an F or a V.
It was one of the greatest things. Mary Whitehouse, I've got a lot to thank her for. And no, you know, it's great that you got someone like that around because you need someone like that around, you know, otherwise we'd go crazy, you know.
The third component, as mentioned with MLE, is H dropping. So house may become ass.
Yeah, not well. He was a red-haired bloke, wasn't he? Quentin House, he was there with me. And now he's burnt to a crisp.
The fourth component is diphthong shifts. Vowels sound stretched, bouncy, and lively.
Between 1 and 3, it's not something.
A day or a week?
No, a day,
A day.
and if that. But sometimes, like I said, I I am doing my best to just go without
Yes.
and completely without, but sometimes it's not as easy just to cut it.
The fifth feature is an optional one, and it's rhyming slang. You may hear things like this.
Mince pies.
Dog and bone.
Pony and trap.
A Ruby Murray.
Plates of meat.
I'm going for a Brad.
Dicky Dirt.
Cock and hen.
Apples and pears.
Rosie Lee. Right, worry and strife or trouble and strife.
Now, Cockney is something that used to be tied to the East End, but truth be told, it's something that you're going to hear in and around London. What would be interesting to know is what you guys think about the accents mentioned so far down in the comments below. Whilst there, if you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. By the way, I'm launching a newsletter where we'll be discussing language, accents and culture, things that I can't really discuss on YouTube. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below. Feel free to sign up. Now, the third accent on our list is Estuary English. Now, it's a mixture or a hybrid between RP and Cockney. After World War II, lots of Londoners moved out of the city into nearby counties like Surrey, Kent and Essex. As they left, Cockney and other London ways of speaking spread into these new areas and mixed with local accents. Over time, this contact created a newer, blended style that we now call Estuary English. Urban expansion and increasing social mobility also helped push forward this new accent. The result is a variety that softens some of Cockney's stronger features while still clearly sounding like modern Southern England. Now, let's discuss some key pronunciation points of this accent. The first is that the L in the middle of a word may be pronounced as a W. Take a word like walk. You may hear walk.
Milk. When you put lemon in milk, it will split into little curd.
Secondly, and similar to Cockney, the T in the middle of a word may be dropped. Take a word like lighter. You may hear lighter.
I'm in a complete dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I can see it's a beautiful place, but it's still just like this.
It's like a dream state for you.
The third feature is that the T at the beginning of a word may be pronounced as a CH. Take a word like Tuesday. You may hear Tuesday. Or take a word like YouTube. You may hear YouTube.
See you next Tuesday.
Now, as I alluded to earlier, the Estuary accent is somewhat of a mixture between RP and Cockney, and how it sounds may depend on the person in question, and it can fit anywhere in that spectrum between RP and Cockney. Some folks may sound more Cockney, and some folks may sound RP. Speaking of which, let's discuss the RP accent. Received pronunciation, often known as RP or Posh British English, developed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Rather than being tied to one specific region, RP became associated with education, social status, and authority. It was traditionally spoken by the upper and upper middle classes and became the accent taught in public schools and used by institutions such as the BBC. For much of the 20th century, RP was considered the standard or correct form of British English. Unlike regional accents, RP did not spread through migration or urban expansion. Instead, it spread through education, broadcasting, and social prestige. Today, fewer people speak traditional RP, but it's still widely recognized and often linked to professionalism and formality. Now, let's discuss some key pronunciation features of this accent. The first is that it's non-rhotic.
So essentially in RP English, we only pronounce the R sound if there's a vowel sound after the R. In the case of the word rather, the first R has an A sound after it, or rather an R sound after it, which means that we do create this R sound and it goes ra at the start of the word. But at the very end of the word, there's actually no vowel sound after the end of the word. So therefore, we don't pronounce the R sound and we just say rather.
Secondly, the T in the middle of a word tends to be clearly pronounced. So water will sound like water. It will not become water. Or bottle will sound like bottle. It will not become bottle.
Natter, natter. 7. Quieter, quieter.
The third feature is that vowels tend to be stretched.
And there was an amazing teacher, a guy called Ian Burke. And I just remember spending so much time in that art schools. And that is where I really found my love for it. And I had a great housemaster who let me kind of really follow that.
Now, I know some of you are saying, what happened to SSBE, or Southern Standard British English? That's a subject for another video. If you'd like to know more about it, let me know down in the comments below. Now, to be clear, Most people do not speak with an RP accent. Most people speak with an Estuary, Cockney, or MLE accent, or a hybrid of all three. My accent tends to lean towards MLE, but I do have moments where I code switch, as do most Londoners. What would be interesting to know, however, is what accent you guys have encountered when speaking to a Londoner. Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to share it to somebody else who may find it interesting. I'm going to link all my other accent explained videos up here. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I shall see you in the next one. Peace.